Hey guys, Godfather of Anxiety here. Just wanted to do a short video about health anxiety and the effects that it can have on your digestive system. I've done videos on health anxiety and also on different symptoms of anxiety, physiological symptoms, but I don't think I've ever gotten into or done, a fairly thorough explanation of exactly how bad and how diverse digestive symptoms can be just from anxiety. So, when I first started having panic attacks back in 2003, one of the first symptoms I had was severe indigestion. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have dealt with indigestion before, heartburn. Maybe you're taking a proton pump inhibitor. Maybe you take Malox. Maybe you take some other antacid. Guys, to call this, heartburn would be a disservice to that term, because this was, if you had told me someone had poured acid and rusty nails into my digestive system, that's how this felt. I was convinced I had an ulcer. And that actually made sense given my diet and my lifestyle for a few months before I started having panic attacks. I was living on coffee. I had put on weight, and I wasn't getting any sleep. So I thought, well, maybe I have an ulcer. At the time, I didn't know anything about H. pylori and how that is largely responsible for ulcers more than, stress or lack of sleep or anything else. It's normally that bacteria that triggers you to have actual sores in your digestive system. But this was so horrible, and it wasn't just the top of my digestive system that was bothered. I also was having a lot of intestinal pain, stomach pain, and I actually started having some IBS symptoms, several years before I had panic attacks, but it got worse. And the bowel symptoms that I had, guys, it fluctuated in between, it could be anything from severe constipation to severe diarrhea. And when I say severe, I mean severe. And just a general feeling of unwellness anytime I ate something, or, just even when I didn't eat. It was so funny. For a few minutes after I ate, I would feel better. And then if I got to the point where I was, once the food started to digest, then I'd go right back to feeling horrible. And I mean horrible, worse at that point too. And this is when it was during this period of time where I put on a significant amount of weight, over 100 pounds. And, this just made all of the digestive symptoms worse. And, but, I think it gets understated when people say, oh, anxiety can affect, your digestive system. It can make, you feel not well, or it can, you might, you might have some bowel symptoms, or no, guys, you will think that you have a serious digestive illness, either an ulcer. The symptoms that I had matched an ulcer. They matched, only thing that was missing from the bowel symptoms to be one of the serious bowel diseases, even including cancer, was a lack of blood in my stool. But it was horrific. And again, I want you guys to know that anxiety alone, just anxiety, being stuck in fight or flight, throws off your entire digestive system. So I'm going to tell you guys what types of symptoms you can experience from this. Severe nausea. Like if you have a stomach bug type nausea from being stuck in fight or flight. Yes. Severe acidic, rusty nail, heartburn, and indigestion just from being stuck in fight or flight. This is something that I have experienced. And it's not something that you would just, this is not something that you would just ignore, or, this is something that would change your life. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because these digestive systems symptoms are not mild. They're severe. Sharp pains in your stomach, sharp pains. And the thing that you have to remember too is your digestive system. There is definitely, the brain and the gut are connected. We know this. The nervous system and your digestive system are connected. I mean, even neurotypical people will get, nervous before the big game and throw up, or they'll, those types of things happen. We know that they're connected. But the level with which they're connected, I think, is very misunderstood by people. So there's a muscular rhythm to bowel movements, and the two muscles that are responsible for doing this. And when the timing of those two muscles is thrown off by being stuck in fight or flight, having adrenaline dumping, and the nervous system becomes affected, that's what makes for the severe constipation and the severe diarrhea. And they're not mild. They aren't things that you would just say, oh, my stomach's off. It's not like that. So that's why I wanted to make the video, because I think people diminish how severe anxiety alone can affect the digestive system. And another reason why I'm making this video is because someone close to me recently has, and this is another thing about health anxiety that I wanted to say in this video. I'm glad I remembered, because this is not going to be a long video at all. But health anxiety usually does not come out of nowhere, guys. So what I mean by that is there is an underlying health issue, usually. Sometimes it's very minor, sometimes it's medium. Usually it's not ever serious, like really serious. So in my case, I developed a bunch of allergies, and that played a significant role in when I first started having some of the health anxiety that I had, because of the dizziness, the ocular pressure, the floaters that I started to have, all coming on at once, so it triggered my health anxiety really bad, guys. And that was way back in 2003, when I was having panic attacks and everything else. I had a lot of physiological things go on as well. But, so normally what there is a physiological symptom. So this person that recently has had a flare-up of both a physical problem with their digestive system, as well as being in fight or flight and developing health anxiety. And what happens is the two things end up working synergistically in a bad way. So they feed each other. And so if you have, let's just go through some different digestive things you could have. Let's say you have, whether it be an ulcer or a gallbladder problem or IBS or whatever it might be. Let's say you have a physiological health condition like that. If all of a sudden the symptoms that you develop because of that underlying health problem, if your health anxiety gets focused on that, guess what? It's going to intensify those symptoms. You're going to notice every little movement in your digestive system, things that you never even think of. You're going to notice every pain, every gas pain. Your hypersensitive nervous system is going to more readily interpret pain or misinterpret pain. So in other words, heartburn that would normally be uncomfortable will feel like battery acid and rusty nails. So this is what happens with digestive issues and health anxiety, and when the two end up being, feeding off each other. And it's terrible, guys. You could end up hospitalized from this, and you can think you're going crazy. So to put a bow on this video, back in 2003, I'm trying to remember if it was 2003 or 2004 that I actually got around to having like a barium swallow. And I thought for sure with the symptoms that I'd been having that they were going to find an ulcer, maybe, a severe hiatal hernia, some symptom of, potentially having cancer or something. And the only thing they found was that I had gastric esophageal reflux disease. That was it. Nothing else. And I'm not minimizing that condition, because that condition, for those of you guys who have it, know that it can be problematic for sure. But that just let me know that the problem was being tremendously exacerbated by my health anxiety. The fact that I already was thinking, oh, this is something terrible. And we catastrophize it, guys. We get a symptom and we don't think, oh, I should get that checked out. Right? That's a normal person's reaction. Oh, there's a new symptom. It's persistent. I'll get it checked out. You don't even think about the dents and dings that we go through, a stomach bug here or there. You don't, a cold, a fever, whatever. Those things, neurotypical people just let go. And most of the time we can get away with letting things like that go. But if something's different, instead of just saying, well, I'll get it checked out, we automatically we're either on Google looking to see what it could be, or we're already projecting in our minds how this is different. I haven't had this before. Uh-oh, this is probably it. And that is what the mind of somebody with anxiety disorder, with health anxiety, with panic disorder, that's how our minds work. And I want you guys to be aware of this. But I also wanted to make this video specifically so that you know how severe the symptoms can be. Because you can have yourself buried already. Like, oh, I must have some horrible cancer or something, and then you get checked out and everything comes back okay. And you're like, where are these symptoms coming from? Well, what I'm telling you is they can come simply from being stuck in fight or flight, a hypersensitive nervous system, and health anxiety. So that's all I want to say, guys. Thanks so much for the engagement. I'm so grateful. Keep like, share, subscribe. Keep engaging the channel. If you know anybody who might be experiencing any of the anxiety disorders or depression, have them take a look at the videos. Anyways, until my next video, guys, take care.